This is a Mets Willits Point bound 7 local train. The next and last stop is Mets Willits Point.
Closing doors, please.
Hey Mets fans, thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to another episode of Bearded Mets Banter. I am your boy and your host, Chente Camacho Jr. And for today's episode, I have a special guest. Every week is a special guest because y'all are Mets fans and I appreciate y'all. But this fan, he's a lifelong Mets fan since the beginning. He's also a memorabilia collector extraordinaire, has one of the best collections I've seen with my very own eyes. And you know, for me to get him to come on, you know, we had to come to agreements on certain things because, you know, my big bro Willie, in the little time I've met him, you know, he's become like a big bro to me because we have so much in common coming from New York City. But he's a private man, you know what I'm saying? He never really was on social media until in January he started doing his Twitter. And you know, he's amassed quite a following since January. He's a New York cat. You know, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my big bro, Willie López, none other Willie López Show. Welcome.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, mi gente. Es un placer estar contigo.
Gracias.
Just want to thank you for having me, and thanks for honoring the conditions of me coming on with my disguise.
Of course, man.
That, you know, I've been a very private person my whole life. I've never really been into the social media scene, but just for the audience, for their benefit and full disclosure, you know, obviously, the reason I never joined any social media platforms, because like I said, I really didn't want, not necessarily my identity known, but just people to know my business in general, you know?
Right.
And, so everything, you know, the name and the photos that actually are on Twitter are actually fictitious, and those of a family member, and that just goes to show you how easy it is to deceive the general public.
Right, like catfish and all that, right?
Yeah, having been a lifelong New Yorker, obviously, part of my DNA is that I'm an instigator, I'm a troublemaker in a good way, you know. Obviously, you know, I was voted class clown and most likely to succeed in my senior year of high school, and I've kind of lived up to that hype somewhat.
Hey.
With all that being said, actually, I'm just messing with everybody.
Check it out. Come on. It's really Willie. Stop playing, baby. Welcome, Willie. Yo, you're great, man. You have such a great sense of humor. You're a breath of fresh air to us Mets fans, man.
It is true that I was voted class clown and most likely to succeed. But you know, obviously I retired recently. You know, I was one of those COVID casualties. I was on Wall Street for 23 years and had a restaurant, the best pizzeria Italian restaurant on earth. I tell everybody, and I'm not shy about it. But
don't be, especially when you've gotten the accolades that you have. You know. I didn't know anything about the business. I had a partner, obviously, whose family had been in the business for decades and decades. But bottom line is, yeah, I retired. I mean, I shut it down when COVID hit because that wasn't going to be good for business. Bottom line is, I retired and I joined Twitter in January, and you know, that's like I said, the first platform that I've ever been on. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun. You know, just having fun with it, not getting trying to avoid confrontations. I'm not getting into confrontations with people. If I get stupid messages, I just ignore them, you know. I understand.
And, I'm not in the business of blocking anybody or any of that stuff. But,
right.
Like I said, it's been fun, and we got to meet people like you and Manny's of the world and Theo Al.
Manny, Theo Al, these guys, these are like.
There's a nice Twitter family out there.
Yeah. These are knowledgeable Mets fans too. They're smart guys. These are guys that know their stuff.
So it's been good.
So tell me, when did you become a Mets fan? I know when I introduced you, I said lifelong, but
Yep.
Let the people know since when.
It definitely has been lifelong, and obviously, my dad was a Brooklyn Dodger, New York Giants fan. So when they moved to the West Coast, that was like in '57. Um, the New York basically didn't have a National League team at
Right.
that point, and the Met franchise was awarded in '62. And I was 6 years old at the time, so coming from the Bronx, my dad being a Mets, became a Mets fan obviously because he rooted, he loved the National League brand of baseball,
Right.
Because it was a little different. It's always been a little different, and so we adopted the Mets as our team. And I tell people I'm from the Bronx, and when I tell people when I tell them I'm from the Bronx, they're like, "You're from the Bronx and you're a Mets fan?"
Yeah.
So then I tell them the story about my dad being a Brooklyn Dodger,
It's the same thing
New
with
York
me.
Giants fan, and the fact that in my day, back in those days in the '60s, you're talking about the Mets were the poor man's team and the Yankees were the rich snooty man's team.
Right,
That's just
right.
the way it
The
was.
blue collar.
I tell them I grew up a poor man, so
Right.
that's my team.
I feel you. Well, it's the
So
same
I
thing.
rooted for the lovable losers all my life, basically, since 1962.
Yeah, your dad was a Dodgers fan and my dad was a New York Giants fan. So he thought my dad thought about going to San Francisco. My dad thought about moving out there. So I probably would never been born if he would have really moved to San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but then
Again,
but then he
day
became a
one.
Mets fan. He became a Mets fan. So you said you were 6 when you became a Mets, like in '62. You were 6 years old when you became a Mets fan, essentially. Who was your first favorite Mets player? Like who was that? The first guy for you?
Put it this way, back in those days, I mean, obviously, the Mets, I don't want to say they were the laughing stock, but, I mean, to this day, they hold a modern-day record of 120 losses.
Right.
I mean, they won 40 games and lost to 120 that year. But they had this little left-hander, little black left-hander named Al Jackson.
Al Jackson.
And only because of his diminutive status, he was I kind of took a liking to him, obviously.
Right.
Felix Mantilla was the first Puerto Rican.
Okay. Yes.
Mets player that they had. So kind of those two guys in the beginning, And then as they evolved and over the years, I've had a bunch of favorites, but my all-time favorite when I was growing up as a kid, when I started playing Little League Baseball and all that, was Ron Swoboda. Okay? And
Ron Swoboda.
like I said, over the years, there's been a lot of them, but those were the guys in the beginning.
Interesting. That's really nice. Good player to look up to, and I'm sure that your generation, you weren't the only Ron Swoboda fan. I'm sure the grown-ups, took a liking to him. The guy hustled. He was a tough ball player.
Yeah, I mean, Swoboda was, what we like to term the lunch pail type of
Yeah,
player.
he was the working man's player. He was the, 270, 280. He worked hard for his numbers. He
He hit,
Yeah,
decent,
yeah.
but, he made that play in the World Series.
Yeah, he did. He went belly. Yeah, belly. Yeah, that was a. I actually own. I used to call into SNY when they did the show Loudmouths. Remember Loudmouths when it was Adam Shine and Chris Carlin? I used to call in. I was not a contributor, but I called in, and I had fun with the guys. And one time I won a contest, and they sent me the 5 essential games ever played at Shea Stadium, and that game, that belly flop catch, was part of that game. It's a pretty nice series to have. It came in a tin. It's really nice collectible.
I don't remember where it was, but believe it or not, I actually met him and got his autograph. Now, as it relates to the memorabilia, I've been doing it for over 20 years, so I have stuff that I don't even know that I have.
Right. I can imagine.
The autograph that I got, where is it?
You don't know.
I got stuff everywhere.
So,
I actually got to get his autograph.
So that's funny that you start talking about like the memorabilia you collect and stuff. Willie, what got you interested in collecting memorabilia? When did that start?
Put it this way, Chente. The thing is that in New York, obviously it's tough to kind of get close to the game.
Right.
Yeah, you could go to a game or two, and you just admiring the game that we've played since we were little kids.
Right.
Okay? When I moved to Tampa with my Wall Street firm back in '98, there was no baseball. Actually, I moved here, I'm sorry, in '92. In '92, there was nothing. The Rays were born in '98, and I adopted them as my American League team in '98. So I became a season ticket holder for the Rays in '99, a full season ticket holder. And then the subsequent years, like partial, because it's hard to go to 81 games.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
And, the bottom line is that, like I said, we had spring training. A lot of teams did spring training down here and still do. But as it relates to that, when I started going to the Rays games, I saw how easy it was to kind of get autographs, but more so how easy it was to interact with the players. Which is something that,
in comparison to up north, you couldn't do. It was impossible.
Never exposed to, and I, even just the fact security wouldn't even allow it.
Right.
Over here, you would go when the gates open. You go right down to the field, to the very front row. Player wanted to come and sign, they come and sign. You could chit chat with them. So that was kind of appealing to me. And like I said, over the years, to be honest with you, I mean, it's almost like being a kid in a candy store.
I can imagine.
I met people, I met players and coaches, and I could call some of them my friends, some big names, that have played this game of baseball.
Right.
And, if I ran into them in the street,
Yeah, in our conversations off of this, like, the stuff you've told me, it's like, wow. And we're not going to name drop. We're not trying to do that because, these are your friends, you know what I'm saying? That you have a personal relationship with them.
If I ran into Big Papi, if I ran into Evan Longoria.
Yeah,
Over the years, I developed some close relationships through other mutual friends.
Right.
It's just, bro, it's just been fun. It's a challenge at times, too. I like to call it the thrill of the kill. Because the bottom line is some of these guys are difficult,
No, of course.
I have one, my ball supplier, he sells memorabilia for a living. I've done it as just to collect and hoard. If I would have been smart, I would have sold the stuff shortly after getting it.
Right.
The bottom line is, put it this way, I don't think it's ever going to lose its value, especially I would focus in on the star players, not just anybody, because baseballs are expensive.
Yes, they are. They are.
A minor leaguer in spring training, number 92, to waste a ball on and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, my ball supplier, like I said, he sells memorabilia for a living, and I would get the balls from him and then just go to the park early. Sometimes I'd go with my son when he was much younger. We'd go like as the players are coming in.
Right.
So it's the thrill of the kill. He tells me sometimes, "Oh, that guy don't sign. He's impossible or whatever." Guess what? If you don't try, you ain't gonna know.
You gotta shoot your shot.
And he had obviously
tried before. He failed before, so.
Like let's say a Joey Cora, for argument's sake. He's a coach with Pittsburgh, right?
Joey Cora.
He would always tell me, "Oh, that guy don't sign for anybody." I'm like, "Yeah, watch. Oye, Joey, no firma, por favor." And here he comes, So
that's it.
Obviously, being bilingual, I tell people trilingual, but I speak a little Japanese, enough to get a Japanese player to sign.
Right.
And I tweeted out a few weeks ago about knowing 3 languages. One of my sons outed me and he says, "What do you know, 5 words in Japanese?" So I responded to him and I said, "No, I actually know 8. It's just 8 you need to know,
That's right.
How you do? Hello? Can you please sign? Thank you very much.
That's it.
So, but that's what got me into it, the interaction and all that. And like I said, as the years evolved, I got to establish some relationships. And when I had the restaurant, I was able to meet and become very good friends with Derek Shelton, who is now the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
When he was the hitting coach for the Rays for like 6 years or whatever, and I would get field passes from him whenever I wanted, and I would reciprocate not because I had to, but just as out of the kindness of my heart, I would take them subs.
Of course.
So I would give, I would take like chicken parm subs and meatball
Nice.
parm subs, and
Nice.
then just take a whole bag full. You know, I cut them in half because I used to sell footlongs, so they were huge.
Okay. Ooh.
And then either I'd give it to him to take into the clubhouse, and there was many times they would just, since they knew me, they would just come over and let's say Luke Scott for one of them. He was, you know, he wasn't with the Rays a long time, but he would come over, grab a half a stuff for me, and start eating it right on the field.
Right there on the spot, right there.
You know, it was funny. And,
That's cool.
So the bottom line is, like I said, you know, they, you know, if they knew I was there or I would get their attention, hey, you know, and I say, you want a sub? More often than not, they wouldn't say no.
No. That's one thing about athletes. Athletes eat.
But, you know, in this day and age, you know, they've gotten more careful.
That's true too. That, and it's funny you say that they have gotten more careful because the first athlete that I did notice that was not even a baseball player. T.O. when he went to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles fans was like, "Yo, T.O. when you gonna eat a cheesesteak?" And he's like, "Maybe when the season's over. Right now, I'm not eating that." I was like, "Whoa."
You know, they have nutritionalists.
Yes. Yeah, they do have
listen,
nutritionists.
You got to take care of your body, man. It's a grind, you know. And you got to watch what you eat, and you got to take care of your body. And you know, like I was pretty good. I was pretty tight with Joey Bats, Jose Batista, right? And then he would tell me to bring him empanadas, right? So.
¿De cuál? What kind?
You know, whatever, beef, chicken, you know, whatever empanadas. So, like, I have a friend that has a Cuban restaurant. So if I had a chance, I'd go get them empanadas. If not, I would take them the beef patties they used to sell in New York.
The Jamaican beef patties.
The Tower House beef patties.
Yeah.
I would take beef patties with cheese, you know.
Nice.
They used to have the best cheese, grande cheese, the best cheese. So I used to take, you know, a bunch of beef patties with cheese, and they were allowed to eat that only because they would convince the nutritionist or whoever they had to convince on the inside that it was a delicacy. So they were allowed to eat delicacies. They weren't allowed to eat junk food per se.
Got you. That's hilarious.
I tell you, it's a lot of stories.
They get beef patty with cheese a delicacy. I love it. You know, put some pepperoni on it, make it extra fancy. Oh man. So Willie, in your collection, are there like, would you have like 3 pieces in your collection? Because I know that when we spoke about it before, you were like not heirlooms or something that have high esteem, high value to you, like sentimental wise.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the bottom line is like, there's a bunch of pieces that I have. I mean, the reality is all of them do, to one extent or another.
Right.
But naturally, you know, at this point in my life, I mean, I have so much stuff. You know, I've put some stuff on eBay, just a small fraction of what I have because it is kind of time consuming.
Yes. I can see how so too.
And, you know, as far as taking pictures, I mean, once you write a story, the story's there, and it's just a question of changing the pictures. But you have to take pictures of all the pieces. And,
right.
The bottom line is, I've been trying to get rid of stuff because I just have it. It's too much. I mean, I shake my head when I look at what I have. You don't even know what you have.
Wow.
Anyway, so basically, I have, you know, I have a few pieces that have kind of sentimental value here. You know, you know, obviously, I have and I've posted some of these pictures on, you know, with a lot of my tweets. So I have like a Mike Piazza game used bat.
Game used?
I ultimately got signed by him. You know, it's a game used. It's cracked. Can you see that?
Yes, sir. So
I mean, he
the autograph right there. Yes, sir.
He doesn't have the prettiest autograph.
No.
Some of these guys, they write like doctors, you know. So it's got a handle crack or whatever.
Gotcha.
But, you know, all of these, any type of memorabilia is going to have value. And again, depending who it is, you know. So that. Let me show you the very first York City. In 1991, when I moved with Solomon here, we had hired Lou Piniella Jr., and his father was managing the Reds at the time. So I had him get me tickets for when the Reds played the Mets at Shea Stadium, and I got the tickets that were right next to the dugout. So this is Mariano Duncan. Gave this to my son. He was like 2 years old. This was the very first bat that I got. Right? So basically, this was the first piece of my collection.
That's the one that got you started.
Yeah, so this was the first piece in 91. And then, it wasn't like I said. So, yes, there was spring training baseball here, which I used to go to spring training games. Yankees are in Tampa, so they're like the closest team to me. Mm-hmm. And although I've never been a Yankee fan, obviously, they had a lot of big names.
Yes.
In spring training, all of the old timers that are big names, would come.
They show up, yes. Legends Field, right?
In the spring. And then the very first one I got on my own and I got signed was this one. Now, this is a
I know that signature.
Yeah. So this was in 2000 at it used to be called Legends Field. It's George Steinbrenner Field now. So they were playing Kansas City because Beltran came up with Kansas City, and he's in the dugout. And I spoke to him in Spanish, say hello. With a lot of these guys, to break the ice, I would bless them. I would say Dios te bendiga. And a lot of times that's an icebreaker with a lot of these guys. So I just said, listen, my philosophy is if you don't ask, you'll never know,
It's true.
So basically, I said, hey, if you crack one of your bats, would you give it to me? So, like, he shook his head, yeah. And after BP, he comes and he hands me the bat. Now, this bat is not cracked at all.
No.
Okay? And then I had him sign it. So, I happen to have the silver paint pen, which obviously you always have to be prepared. So you have to have the tools of the trade.
There you go.
Sharpies, pens, ballpoint pens, blue ballpoint pens, by the way, not black. And then, so he signed that beautifully, and they put Rookie of the Year.
Wow, because he won the Rookie of the Year that year prior, right?
This was the first actual piece, first bat that I got on my own, and the first one that I got signed.
Wow.
That has sentimental value.
I can see why, absolutely. Wow.
I got a bunch of Met ones that I was going through the closet now. I have probably a couple of 100 bats. Game used, some cracked, some not cracked. But, this guy became kind of a buddy of mine, and he gave me, this is Big Papi.
Big Papi.
So
David Ortiz.
This bat has what's called in the business dead wood.
Dead wood.
In the back. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah, you can see it. The wood is lifted up.
Yeah, that's what they call dead wood.
Yes, I'm familiar with dead wood.
Bottom line is he handed me the bat. He signed it for me. And there's no question that he hit some of his 500 plus home runs with this baby.
Hell yeah. You could see the marks you could see the ball marks, the seam marks and everything.
And you could see
on the sweet spot.
Yeah. So, can you see the signature?
Yeah, move it over. Yeah, right there. You can see it right there.
Yeah. And then, like I said, all of these guys, they're pro bats. They have their names on them. Depending on who the maker of the bat is, it'll have, like in this case, Big Stick just has David Ortiz Pro. The Piazza's
Mizuno.
But the Louisville Sluggers have what the model number of that bat is. It'll have the player's replica signature usually.
Right.
And then sometimes it has the replica and sometimes it doesn't. So in this case, like the Beltran, it doesn't have the signatures per se.
Right.
The replica signature like some of them do, but it'll have the team name also.
Gotcha.
And then, like I said, with Papi, my screen on my end says paused. I don't know why. So I don't see you, and I don't want to touch nothing.
Nah, don't worry. You can see me. Look, boom, I'm back. I'm back.
So anyway, look. See what this is?
Batting gloves.
These are all game-used gloves.
Wow.
Okay. Now.
I have those right there. I got those. I wear those.
What, these?
Those. Those are Mizuno. Those are Mizuno MVPs. Oh no, they have the same design as the Mizuno MVP.
These are Nike.
Nike. They have the same exact design as the Mizuno MVP.
Yeah, unfortunately, like with some of these gloves.
Who wore those? Longoria? I see number 3 on them.
Yeah, that's Longo. He signed them nicely for me, but sometimes the signatures have a tendency of fading no matter how much you take care of them.
Yeah.
All right. These gloves I got during BP of game 162. The famous 162.
Against Boston? Against
No, Baltimore was playing Boston. Against Boston, because Baltimore was playing who? The Yankees? Who was it that they were fighting?
That was when they eliminated them to go into the...
Exactly. They won the wild card. They were losing that game 7-0. I was with my son. We were at the trap till like 2 o'clock in the morning from the celebration and all that stuff.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah, they were down 7-0.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Most people get up and go home.
Yeah.
7-0. But,
Especially in Florida.
We stayed. It was the last game, and he hit a 3-run homer, to cut the lead, and then Dan Johnson, Dan Effin Johnson, as they call him, he had some tremendous pinch hit home runs. He tied the game.
Yeah.
Like with 2 outs.
Wow.
In the last inning.
They were
down to their final strike.
Yeah.
And then Evan hit
the game winner.
Hit another one
to win the game.
He basically, I had gone to them. That was the last series was against the Yankees, and basically I went on the Monday. So every time he would see me, he was like, "I have field passes." So he goes, "You bring me a sandwich?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm closed today." They used to close on Mondays. I said, "I'm closed today." I said, "I could bring you on Wednesday." So he goes, I said, "You want one Wednesday?" He goes, "Yeah, I want one Wednesday." So I told my boy, I says, "Hey, I need field passes for Wednesday because Evan wants food." And he was the superstar of the team.
Yeah, he was the guy.
So he got me field passes for Wednesday, and I brought them food on Wednesday. So, and like I said, the rest is history. He wouldn't give me his bat. I kept asking him for a bat. He wouldn't give one up. And we were pretty tight at that point,
Yeah.
And he knew I was a diehard Mets fan, so he would always break my chops.
Yeah.
Like one year I went and I had field passes for the Mets, right? And I don't want to disrespect my boy, so I didn't have any Mets gear while I'm on the field. So let's say I have my race stuff while I'm on the field, right? Then later on when the game starts and I'm in the stands, then I could change to my Mets stuff. So I went with a couple of people, and he was taking infield practice, right? And I told him, I said, "Watch when Evan comes in, watch him break my chops," right? Sure enough, he's coming in to hit. He goes, and I was like the bag lady, Chente. I used to have a bag of balls.
Yes.
And a bag of jerseys. Right? Because they allowed you to bring that stuff. So he goes, he comes in, and he points to my stuff that I have like on the ground. He goes, "You got all your Met stuff in there?" I go, "You know it." Anyway, this is Poppy. Poppy gave me 2 pairs of his gloves over his career.
Nice.
Again, it has a lot of DNA. Poppy used to spit in the gloves.
Hell yeah. He would have.
Yeah. So this has Poppy DNA. This one's all ripped right here, so obviously
wear and tear. He rocked on those. He was
great game use.
Yeah, he liked those gloves.
These a few of those 500 plus lifetime home runs.
Yeah. And the hits too. Yeah. So
believe it or not, these are his.
That's incredible.
Too. And look, this has a hole in it too.
Yeah, he liked his gloves. You can tell he don't use it. He don't switch out his gloves a lot. When you see the holes like that, he doesn't switch out his gloves a lot.
What's unique about this one, this pair, and he signed them. You can see. So this pair was when he was.
So the one with the hole, is that the top hand?
The one with the hole.
What side? What hand is it?
It's the right, so it's the bottom hand.
Bottom hand to drop. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was when in his rookie season when he was with Minnesota.
Oh.
So like I said, I've known him for that long.
That's Minnesota. That's before Yeah. Oh man.
I used to take him food too. Poppy was one of the visiting guys that I used to feed.
That's cool.
Poppy and Pedroia. Pedroia loved me. Pedroia wouldn't sign for nobody, bro. Or I shouldn't say that. He would sign a couple, but for me, he'd sign all the time. Because I have my seats right by the dugout. I know you saw the video I posted when
Yes,
I
sir.
bought the bat.
Yes, sir.
Xander Bogaerts
Yes.
bat. So I'm one of the reasons I got those seats is I says, you know what? If I'm gonna splurge, I want the best seats in the house, and I can get autographs at those seats right up
Right
until
there.
the first pitch. So bottom line is, I will call Petey after he go out to run. He see me, he come over and sign, and then leave. Everybody looking at me like, what do you want me to do? I can't force the guy to sign for you.
If he not signed, that's not on me, baby.
Yeah. This guy's got a beautiful autograph too.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
That's Joey Batista.
Jose Batista. You can see it. Se ve. He even put the accent on the E and everything.
Yeah, Joey bats. He's one of those guys, man, like Beltran, signed like every letter. So these are Marucci. These are Marucci gloves.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got like all of these batting gloves here. First pair, I don't even remember what the first pair was. But anyway, I basically got a lot of stuff here for the Met fans because that's our team. So
That's what I want to do right now, Willie. I want you to pretty much take over and start showing us some stuff. I'm gonna go to the background. I'm gonna let you rock. You
so
give it.
Basically, like I said, probably not 95%. I probably have 2,000 items in my collection. I probably have about 1,000 signed balls, believe it or not. I have a couple of hundred bats. I have hats, signed hats, whether they're Rays hats, Yankee hats, different kind of hats. I have, the batting gloves. I have the jerseys. So I buy all-star jerseys, right? I have a connection, which I'm gonna remind me to turn everybody on to my connection in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
He's a big eBay seller. I've been doing business with him for over 20 years. If you want an authentic jersey, that's the place to go. You're gonna get a decent price, In some cases, there's jerseys that he auctions off with a low starting bid, so you can get a $300 jersey sometimes for less than $100.
Wow.
Okay, so
Authentic too, not no rinky dink
Not no
knockoff.
no knockoff.
Don't get it twisted. We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
He used to have a big account with Majestic, but then he lost it because Majestic lost the
Right, they lost it to
It's basically Nike, even though the same people are making the jerseys. But anyway, this is a 2006 All-Star jersey, David Wright. So I would buy the jerseys and then I would go to the parks. David Wright loved to sign jerseys, so he was good. And then I have like his 08. This was in Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
He did me right. He gave me a really sweet autograph.
That's a nice autograph.
But sometimes they'll sign, they'll give you a full signature, and other times they give you garbage, initials. Anyway, our girl runs for the Grom.
Yes.
You wanted me because I had told.
Shout outs to Runs for the Grom. Shout outs to Runs for the Grom.
I asked the Twitter family if they wanted me to show anything special. I didn't hear from many people, but she said anything to Grom.
Boom.
I actually sent her pictures. So this is another jersey that I got from the guy. Paul.
From your connect, yeah.
PTF Sports. This is
PTF Sports.
Yeah, I sent you the card.
Yes.
I can give the name and, the username is PTF Sports on eBay. He's in Parsippany, New Jersey. But this is basically like a $250+ jersey. All right. I pay pennies on the dollar. These are kind of like the jerseys they wore on the field.
Yes, right.
So the Grom does not like to interact too much with the fans. So he's a tough get. And I got him in Miami, 2016. I got him in Miami only because, like I said, I'm not gonna lose no sleep if nobody signs for me.
Right.
If you're saying Mr. and Please at my age, if I'm calling you Mr. and Please and I could be your father, at least acknowledge me. Tell me you can. Tell me you won't. Tell me to go drop.
That goes a long way.
Whatever, that's fine. No problem. You got a meeting because a lot of these guys over the years. Oh, we got a meeting.
That's the excuse. Is that the excuse they give you?
We got a meeting. I'll sign when I get back out.
Gotcha.
And never see him again. But anyway, so I had an All-Star jersey. I actually have 2 All-Star jerseys for the Grom for 2015, and then I have one for a following subsequent year. Now I had the jersey on the Monday game, but he didn't even acknowledge me, so I left it in the car the next day.
Gotcha.
The Tuesday night game. So same thing, Mr. DeGrom, could you please sign it? I don't want to out Jacob because he's great, we all love him.
Right.
But it was like he totally ignored me. So at that point, the second night, and he wasn't playing then because he had stitches from, I guess he got Tommy John, right?
Okay.
So he had stitches. You could see visible stitches. He had like a little.
What year was this?
2016.
2016.
2016. You could see the scars, and so the second night, same thing, and then I basically said something to him that I think struck a nerve. He went inside. 5 minutes later, he's coming out. I tell my son, "Hey, look who's coming!" And he came to us, and he came inside.
He looked it up.
Anyway, that's his autograph. And if you go on eBay or anywhere else, you're not gonna find many Jacob DeGrom.
Now you really don't see Jacob DeGrom signatures out there. You really don't. I searched myself. You really.
He doesn't like giving it up.
He's one of those rare ones.
Yeah, and I'll show you a ball. So we got 2 autographs. What I should have done is given him a bunch of stuff that day. This
Right.
is a David Wright 07. So I got.
That's another.
I got like all the David Wright and all.
I see you got the 06, 07, and 08 All-Star. That's pretty cool.
Put it this way. I have, those are signed. I have ones that I never got to get signed because the Mets are in Port St. Lucie.
Right.
Which is a couple of hours.
A few hours away from you.
Go there one time to go see a game. But, you got to go there. Now that I'm retired, I can go there like when they're playing 2 or 3 days in a row and stay there in a hotel.
Right, make it a time that you like to go and spend a couple days there.
Back is crazy. 2 hours there.
Nah, that's it's a hassle to drive back. Yeah.
Anyway, so here's the Jake Sweet Spotted Ball.
Sweet spot. Now, when you say sweet spotted ball, for the people that don't know about memorabilia, explain what the sweet spot is.
So basically, what they call this area here, in between the seams, away from the Rawlings logo and the MLB logo, and the other, the commissioner's stamp.
Yes.
That's what they call the sweet spot.
Gotcha.
So typically, that's where you want the ball signed, and you want it signed in a blue ballpoint pen. Don't ever get a ball, especially a Major League Baseball, signed in anything other than a blue ballpoint pen. And the reason for that is that black, let's say, is not a natural color.
Gotcha.
Okay? So ultimately, that thing in time is going to fade to yellow and ultimately disappear. Stuff you get with blue, you have to protect your stuff. So you got to keep it away from the light. If I would have displayed this where light is hitting it every day,
It'll fade.
It'll disappear. It'll fade away with time. So I keep it in a, kind of a dark room. The guest room's kind of dark and away from light. And the house is always cool. So that's what you want to do. But that's the sweet spot. Now, sometimes what will happen is a player will say, I don't sweet spot. When a player tells you he doesn't sweet spot, what he's basically telling you is that he has a memorabilia company that pays him for his autographs.
That he only signs for them exclusively.
And he only signs for them exclusively, and they kind of brainwash the players to say,
sign anywhere else.
Don't sign a sweet spot. Don't sign anything under the logo, which is to me so ludicrous because you know what? You're making millions and millions of dollars, okay? Me as a fan, so you give me an autograph.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to sell this, what am I gonna get? Well, DeGrom is special, but normally anybody else, what are you gonna get? $50 for a ball? Okay, so this one I might be able to get $300, $400, $500 for.
Okay. Right.
Am I gonna retire on that? No, I'm not.
Oh.
Okay, and that's only because it's him. But anybody else, you ain't getting $50, $60. Well, even if you got $100 per ball, what are you gonna do? Retire on that? No.
Wow.
So to me, it's laughable. But so in the event somebody tells you they're on sweet spot, what I do, the next best thing is get it under the logo, the MLB logo. Okay? And to be honest with you, like some of these other specialty balls, because I buy all specialty balls, All-Star, World Series,
Yes.
Commemorative baseballs, and those you want signed under the logo, okay? And the reality, and why do you want those signed under the logo as opposed to the sweet spot? The reason you want those signed under the logo is because it basically tells you what type of ball it is, number one, and number two, when you put it in the case and you look at it from the top, you see all the official Major League Baseball and the commissioner's signature, right?
Yes, sir.
So if somebody tells you they don't sweet spot, you want them to sign it here, underneath the MLB logo.
Yeah, that looks like a nice place for a signature.
This way, when you have it in a display case, it basically, so when you have it in a display case and you look at it from the top, you see all the information as far as, official Major League Ball, whether it's an All-Star, whether it's a World Series or whatever.
Boom, and then you see the signature right there.
I don't know who came up with the sweet spot concept and idea.
I think it's because the sweet spot looks similarly to where the logo and the commissioner's signature is. If you look like that spot, or the way that also looks kind of like a sweet spot.
Like the opposite spot.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like. Anyway, this is
I thought I saw. Is that a Subway Series ball?
Yeah. I like collecting specialty balls.
Cause I saw Subway line placards on it.
I purchased like a dozen of these or 24 of these back in 2000. This is from the 2000 World Series Mets Yankees. Okay, so that's Piazza there.
Another Mike Piazza
right?
autograph.
And yeah, what's unique and being a New Yorker, so all you New Yorkers out there can relate.
There it is.
That's the Subway sign. So, for people that have never been to New York or other people from around the country, when you go into a Subway, the signs are there with this little circle telling you.
Yep, the line, what number, where it's going to.
What line, whether it's the A,
B, C, D.
Ones, there's numbered ones.
E.
And they took it a step further and put the Yankee and Mets logo, so it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, we didn't win that World Series, so.
No, tough one, yeah. I was in the military when that happened. I was overseas.
And champions on it, and then that's the World Series logo.
I had to wake up.
Usually, the World Series balls have gold lettering, although lately they've been putting the blue lettering, regular blue lettering, but normally it's the gold lettering. So that's Mikey Piazza there.
Man, you don't know when that World Series happened. I was stationed on the USS George Washington, and I used to have to wake up at like 3 a.m. to watch the games.
And then, like I said, sometimes I don't know. These balls emit over time. No matter how much you take care of them, they emit like oil or what's called toning spots will come up. So from the core, you get some oil that'll come to the top.
So the ball like sweats.
Yeah, and you'll get and depending like what materials they use, because in some cases it's obviously the workmanship.
Right.
So you'll develop a couple of little spots like that.
And what did you say that was called, Willie?
Toning spots.
Toning spots.
Toning. Now, the 2008 All-Star Game balls and the 2013. So 2008 was Yankee Stadium and 2013 was New York
City.
I don't know if it was something against New York that they had, but the run of those balls were the worst.
Really?
Okay? Yeah, so those really emitted an oily feature that came up on them and just destroyed the autographs. So it made like the 13s just spread. So the autograph just spreads. Which, like I said, at that point it's garbage. You might as well go out.
Let's play with him. Let's play with him.
Let's go to the park and
let's hit bait. Yeah.
The 2008s similar, but those really you got real bad toning spots on those. Not so much toning on the 13s, but you got that oily residual. But the 08s really bad. Anyway, this one here you could appreciate. I got 2 of them. I don't know if you could see that.
Yes.
That's Ray Knight.
Oh, 22.
He was working for like, I don't know, I guess he worked for Cincinnati at one time or whatever.
Yeah.
He worked for one of these teams, and I got him at Legends there.
Wow.
And, I'm sure in 1987 you never get him to give you that autograph.
No.
But once you retire and nobody gives a rat's butt as who you are, now you're more receptive to putting,
World Series MVP.
on it. So he wrote 1986 World Series MVP.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, in 87 he would have never put that.
No.
But.
And in 87 he wasn't expecting Howard Johnson to come in and start making some noise.
Yeah. But it's funny, like, sometimes these guys, they won't do anything special for you.
Right.
Then when they're retired and nobody knows about them.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's one of, like I said, I go way back to the beginning. Some people, they've only been Met fans, whatever. 10, 15 years, however old, 20 years.
Yeah, some people became Mets fans since 2015. I mean,
however old they are.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was our boy Tug, man.
Oh, you gotta believe, baby.
Boy Tug.
You gotta
This
believe.
was our boy Tug, who basically was our closer in '69.
You gotta believe, baby.
You gotta believe, Really nice guy, and if you see the signature, you see on the on the tail of the end, he puts a smiley
face.
That's how he used to autograph stuff. It was really cool. And his son's a famous country singer.
Yeah, Tim.
And then I had got him to. This is a special ball. This was opening day 2002.
I'm digging the seams.
Yeah, so the seams are like the All-Star Game balls all have colored stitching, and it's usually the colors of the host team.
Gotcha.
So I have a unique collection. That's just me. I'm kind of anal sometimes, and I have, believe it or not, I have the All-Star Game MVP for that particular game.
Okay.
Since 1987.
Wow.
So, 87 was Tim Raines. 88 was Terry Steinbach. All right. 89 was
Bo Jackson. I remember that
90 was our boy Julio Franco.
Cleveland. Well, no, Texas Rangers. He was with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, but I got him in a hotel room, when I went to see the Mets play the Phillies back in like 2006, 2007 when he played for us.
When he played for the Mets.
Got him at the hotel back then.
That's cool.
So I have all of them. Again, Cal Ripken, 91, Ken Griffey Jr., 92, 93 was, like I said, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. 96 was Piazza.
Yeah.
97 was Sandy Alomar. 98 was Roberto Alomar. Oh, 93 was in Baltimore, the game. That was Kirby Puckett. I was fortunate to get Kirby.
Rest in peace, Kirby Puckett.
Away.
Rest in peace, Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. I was able to get him before he died, and so he signed it under the logo, 94 was McGriff, 95 was Conine, 96 Piazza, like I said, go on and on.
Go on and on. So anyway, let's just jump off of this really quick, Willie. Not to jump off, just to ask you a quick question. It just popped in my mind. As a kid, growing up as a Mets fan, like 7, 8, 9, 10, young teenage Willie, did that version of Willie ever see this version of Willie collecting so much memorabilia over time?
No, not at all. And listen, I've been blessed. I mean, blessed in the sense that things happen in people's lives.
Yeah, man,
and,
absolutely.
You get put in certain situations for a reason, but never imagined that I would develop the relationships I developed
over time, right?
In the game I love to play. I wanted to be a baseball player when I was a kid.
Yes.
And I was pretty good. And to be honest with you, the Willie López show handle that I have was a moniker that was given to me by this guy that I used to play for, because I was a pretty good baller from both sides of the ball, defensively, offensively, and this was after my baseball days of, I played through high school.
Right.
I went to a small vocational school. We won the championship my last year. First time in school history that any of the sports team had ever won anything.
Right.
Because the school I went to used to be
predominantly a female school. It was a woman's.
It was a female school, so when I graduated, the ratio was 10 girls to every guy, and their sporting teams were atrocious. But we ended up winning, and I ended up pitching the playoff game, the all-city playoff game against Bryan High School in Queens, and then I started playing softball. I know you still play baseball.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Then
have fun. It's still fun. It's just fun. That's all.
It's a different brand. It's typically baseball.
It's baseball. It's the same. Yo, it's strategy, man. It's still strategy.
You gotta play defense and you gotta hit the ball.
And they're not gonna put it to you right there every time to hit on a tee. That's not how it works.
Yeah, like I said, I just love playing. So
yeah, it's fun, man.
I worked for Bank of America from 1975 to 1987. I went to play, so I was 19 years old at the time. I joined their softball team. I became like their star. I played shortstop. They gave, they had an MVP trophy that
cleaned up
in 1976. Because I started in December of 75, so the 76 season, they gave me their MVP trophy. And then the last 9 years I was there, we had a dynasty because over the years we had, a lot of Dominican guys from Washington Heights area that would play on the weekends, so we had an influx of ballers, all right?
Yeah.
And we won the Bankers League 9 years in a row, Chente.
Wow.
So we were a dynasty, basically.
Yeah.
And the last 2 or 3 of those 9 years, the guy that was the manager, who was like one of the big shots in the company, had stepped down. So I became like the player manager, like the last 3 years. And the only reason I did that was because I wanted to take the big trophy home. Because the trophy for the champion was like,
tall, right?
As big as me. So I actually took those home with me. They're still in my parents' garage in Orlando, believe it or not. But here, let me show you these two this quick. I got to meet this guy, both of these guys, in Legends Field. This guy had some Met connections. But this is a 2001 World Series baseball. Okay. These were used for the first pitch. And, that was after the whole 9/11 thing.
Yes.
Right? So they made these special flag balls. And I don't know if you can see where...
I can see the autograph, but I can't make out who it is.
All right. But basically what it says is ceremonial first pitch under that flag.
Yes, I did see that. I see that.
Yeah. That's Yogi Berra.
Oh, wow. The legend, another legend passed, not with us.
He was a legend. I mean,
rest in peace.
When I was growing up, you knew of the Willie Mazes of the world and the Mickey Mantles.
But he was one of the greatest players of all time.
This guy.
What did he win? He won 10 World Series, right?
And the guy was like
diminutive. He was little.
No taller than me, and you would never think he was an athlete. You look at some of these guys sometimes, like that guy's a football player.
Yeah, not just athlete. Yogi Berra was a great athlete.
Bro, that guy was, unbelievable. To think of all the championships they won.
Yeah, he won 10.
2000. This is for the 2001 season. These are special balls that were made. You can't find these balls, first of all. If you do, you pay like $100 for one blank one.
Wow.
This is 100th season anniversary of the American League.
The centennial.
That's Whitey Ford.
Oh, Mr. Perfect Game. May he rest in peace.
Yankee legend. Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
So these are, like I said, I like to collect all these kind of specialty balls. They made balls, recently, like in 2017, they made Father's Day balls. They've always made Mother's Day balls, which are the pink ones.
Yeah.
And then they made Father's Day balls, but then they stopped. And I have a couple of them. I have a few of them signed, and I have a couple of them unsigned. Okay? Yeah. Believe it or not, I saw one on eBay unsigned, because for a period of time there, I was seeing what people were paying for them. Some guy paid me $300 for a blank ball, for one Father's Day ball, which... At least that pays for everything, what I paid for.
Yeah, of course.
$300, that pays for 2 dozens of the balls that I
Just real quick, Real quick, to jump back to Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra was 5'7", and he hit 358
That's
career
what I
home
am.
runs.
That's what I am.
He hit,
5'7".
he hit 358 career home runs.
Bro. And I'm poquito gordito.
Yeah.
But like I said, you would look at him and you would never think that guy was a Hall of Famer and he won whatever 10 World Series.
10-time World Series champion.
Or was a stud.
Yes.
I don't know if I don't know if I've posted this on I may have, because I think I tweeted Dallas Braden one time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you know, baseball fans that follow baseball like we do, that are crazy baseball fans,
Yeah,
not just crazy Mets fans.
Yeah.
You know, there was an incident a few years back where A-Rod was on first base, was running
The
for
mound.
ball, so he made it kind of to third base, so he had to go back to first. And instead of going around the mound, he crossed in front of the guy's mound.
Yeah.
And
He
Dallas
stepped on the
Braden-
dirt of the mound.
Well, Dallas Braden is from the hood, from Compton, California.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the South Bronx. That was the hood too.
Yeah.
But Compton, California, I guess it was comparable to the South Bronx in my day. So the guy went off on him. So what happens? The next series, Oakland's at the Trop. He was pitching for Oakland. So Oakland's at the Trop the very next series. So I get his attention. I'm there early. I'm down low. I get Dallas Braden's attention. I have him come over. I didn't want anybody to hear me. So I kind of whispered to him in his ear. I says, has anybody asked you to, stay the fuck off my mound on a ball? And he goes, no. I said, would you do it for me? He goes, sure.
Hell yeah.
So this is what he did. He signed it on the sweet spot. He was number 51. That
Yes.
209, I didn't realize what it was. It's the area code for Compton, California.
Compton.
And then on the side of the ball, he wrote,
Stay the fuck off mound.
Now my ball supplier was next to me and heard me, and then he got one also. We were the only two that got it. Subsequently, I'm sure memorabilia got to him, dealer, and he probably signed hundreds of these. But that's the very first one.
That's the first one.
That description.
That's the first one.
Yep. Funny. And then I told you about, I had Poppy do one of the, I couldn't find it, but Poppy did one for me when they had the Boston Bombies, and he addressed the crowd, and he told, he got some criticism for it because there were kids in the stands, but
Yeah.
you know what, it was an emotional time, and it wasn't a good period of what happened, and when he addressed the crowd, he told them to stay that this is our effing city. When I had to take this is our effing city. So I had him write that on the ball. I said Poppy would sign whatever I would give him. But basically, like I was saying before, I've gotten like 95% of my collection myself. There are some pieces that I have bought because they either were what I thought was a bargain, was a good deal, what
Right.
have you. I told you one year I played in a golf tournament for BJ Upton's charity here.
Yes.
It was right up the road from me, so it was very convenient. And just so happened that BJ's memorabilia guy is the Norfolk connection. He actually was a customer of mine, the memorabilia guy.
Okay.
I had them all under his wing. So he had all those guys, Zimmerman, Wright, the Upton brothers, Granderson. He had all those guys under his wing. So after we finished golfing, we had you eat afterwards. You have like a little buffet dinner, and he had a bunch of items for auction, right? So I ended up getting a couple of pieces, which I thought were pretty awesome. And like I said, my son, my youngest son, and I, big David Wright fans.
Okay.
So I copped this David Wright. It's like a Mother's Day pink back autograph.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is sick. Obviously, since it's a memorabilia item, you could see you got a full David Wright. Even though David has I got a bunch of David Wrights on my own, and a couple of them he did the right thing.
Okay.
Where he did the whole thing. He wrote out his full name. But basically, his David has always looked like Dad to me, like Dad Wright.
Yeah.
That's basically, Sometimes on the last name you get a WGHT, which is what it looks like, but this is as good a signature as you're gonna get. So it has the this is an MLB authentication.
Yes.
Okay, now just for the benefit of everybody out there, you know, since I've gotten my stuff on my own, whatever stuff I have on eBay, number one, I'm not giving my stuff away. So if you want to buy one of my items, you're gonna pay for it. Number one, it's authentic. Number two, to me, it's vintage. I know you had Los on there with some vintage clothes.
Yes.
Well, my jerseys are vintage. These are vintage. You're never gonna find these jerseys, these All-Star jerseys, especially. You will never find them.
Yeah, they're one of not one of a kind pieces, but they're pieces that are rare. They're rare pieces.
You will find jerseys, but they're knockoffs.
Yeah.
And they're bogus. Okay. But an authentic jersey, like All-Star jerseys, they're very few and far between. You're not gonna find no.
Now.
You know, no 04s, 05, 06.
Right.
You're not gonna find any of them.
Now when you telling people you're gonna pay top dollar, right? Obviously, you don't offer the certificate of authenticity, and that's something that you tell your customer they should go at their own behest and pay for.
But what happens is this: there's people that always ask, "Does it come with a COA?" Obviously, I respond to them by saying, "Read all of my auction details," because when you're selling anything, you have to have a story and you have to sell it.
Yes.
So, but read all the details first before you ask questions. But the bottom line is, if they read all the details, they will see that I say, because I have obtained all of my autographs personally, I guarantee them that they will pass any third-party authentication or your money back 100%. Okay? So
Can't get a better deal than that.
I also state that it would be a waste of my time and money to pay Chente Camacho, who's the owner of PSA DNA or James Spence Authentication.
Right.
Why am I going to pay Chente Camacho $25 for a ball, a bat, a hat, or whatever, for him to give me his opinion that signature is authentic? What makes him an authority? I know it's authentic because I got it done myself.
You saw it.
From that player.
Right.
So what I told those people is, you want a comfort level and you want to see away from one of those top companies, then I encourage you to seek that opinion and bear that cost. If they say it fails, that it's not real, which ain't gonna happen, but stranger things have happened, right?
Right.
Then I'll give you send me back my piece, I'll send you back your money.
That's it.
It's simple.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's better than a COA.
That's fair. That's honest business, man.
Yeah. Let me show you. This is the other piece that I bought from that auction. And this is pretty sick too. And it's my boy David Wright.
Ah.
This is that catch, that barehanded catch.
Ah, yes. One of his.
Can you see it?
Yeah, of course.
To move it anywhere?
Yeah, no. It looks great. It looks great.
You see the engraved Mets logo?
Yes. It's laser etched too up there.
Yeah, his name is etched, the logo's etched, and that's a really nice piece.
That's a nice piece, man. That's a really nice piece.
So you see the crowd in the back. Yeah, but this is all etched here. The name.
Yeah, you can't see it now because it's kind of like.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you can see the etching of the name.
Yeah. So that's a pretty sick piece.
That is a nice piece,
but
though.
like I said, brother, it's in going through some stuff to find, for you, and I've just been at the point where, I gotta kind of catalog a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, bro, how much stuff.
You have so much stuff, and over time, it's just gotten.
My wife thinks I'm nuts, but this is a game use helmet I have bought, and I have a Pat Strange. You remember Pat Strange?
I do remember Pat Strange.
Pat Strange that they played for us or whatever. But this was a Pat Strange game use helmet. All right, so these are the helmets they wear. That's a blue one. Never got that one signed. But I bought this one, which was Dan Wheeler.
Dan Wheeler.
Dan Wheeler had 8 plate appearances.
8 plate appearances.
Yeah. So he was with the Mets for probably a year or two.
Yeah, I remember him.
The reason I got it was because he was pretty good for the Rays.
Yeah, he had a nice career for the Rays. Yeah, he had like 3 years. He pitched 3 years with them, right?
I bought the helmet and I had him sign it here at the Trop when I went to the Trop. And like I said, what I thought was unique about this is that he's a relief pitcher, bro. So one relief pitcher gets
at bats.
Never.
Yeah. That's a cool piece.
Yeah.
That's like a conversation piece. I like that.
Anyway, other than that, like I said, I have, your boy, when I tell you about Japanese, okay? Some of the Japanese players are good. Others are really difficult. But, like I said, I learned enough to say, how are you? Could you please sign?
Hideki.
Thank you very much.
Godzilla, baby.
That's a Matsui 2003 All-Star Game jersey, okay?
2003, that was his rookie year, right?
Might have been. What happened was he signed I don't know if you could see this 5 here.
Yeah.
Can you see this 5?
Yes.
You see the autograph on that 5?
Yes.
It's dog shit. What we would call dog shit. That's what my memorabilia guy would say, my ball supplier. Anyway, he signed it in English up here, which is horrible.
Right.
So he came to play for the Rays the 1 year. So what I did is I folded the jersey and basically exposed the other 5 to him. I have field passes. I got his attention. He was a good signer, Matsui. So I would say, Konnichiwa. Matsui-san, konnichiwa. So that's like, Matsui-san.
Mr. Matsui. Mr. Matsui, how are you? How are you, Mr. Matsui?
It's like, Mr. Matsui, how are you? So, Matsui-san, hello, right? So you say, Onigai-san kudasai. Oni-san kudasai means,
can you please sign?
Okay? So then when he come over, I gave him the other 5 because I had this folded. And I told him to do me a favor and sign it in Nihongo.
Which is Japanese.
So, can you see that?
Yes.
That is sick.
That's sick.
Right?
That's incredible.
This is one of these. This is one of these pieces that has sentimental value because you're not gonna find a jersey like this. This is a one of a kind.
It is a one of a kind. And Willie, are you selling this jersey? Is this on your eBay store?
Put it this way, this one's out there for like $2,000. Somebody want to give me $2,000? I'll take it.
Take it.
I mean, listen. At this point in time, tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us.
That's right.
Gotta get rid of most of this stuff at some point.
That's right. And Willie, before we start to close out, because our boy's about to start in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
Look at that.
So that's one for you.
Who's that? Who's that one? Yadiel.
Yes, sir.
Yadiel.
I've had the good fortune of getting him a few times, but go ahead.
Before we end this whole thing off, and I want you to give some stuff to the people. Plug. What's your eBay store in case anybody?
My eBay ID is Attack Life 1. So ATTACKLIFE number 1. Just the 1.
Gotcha.
Attack Life 1. And Attack Life, for those people that are familiar with golf, was like Greg Norman's moniker.
Right. And then
Greg Norman, the golfer from Australia. I was a fan of his, and when I took up golf, I would have Greg Norman hats, Greg Norman socks, Greg Norman balls, whatever.
Who's that guy? Yeah.
Greg Norman, the polos.
Yeah, the shark. Yeah.
We used to sell them here like in Marshalls or Rosses of the world.
Yes.
You're getting $35, $40 polos for 10,
12 bucks. Yeah, for sure.
I would wear them to work because when I moved with Solomon, we used to have casual every day. So we didn't, only if I had a meeting that I had to.
You had to wear a button-up tie, suit tie.
I had a suit and tie every day.
Every day.
But Attack Life 1, my boy Paul Fafaro from PTF Sports, his is PTF Sports. That's his ID on eBay. So all of you folks out there that want to, get a jersey at a decent price and not be disappointed and not be worried that you're going to get ripped off, he's got some gorgeous stuff. And he's in Parsippany, New Jersey on Route 46 there. So
gotcha.
I had given you his card.
I have it. I'll put it up. It's gonna be up there. It's gonna be right here. I got you. It's gonna be right here. This is gonna be right here. This is his business card right here.
Yeah, I've never met him personally, but I'm planning on going to hopefully Jersey in the summertime, and I want to plan to go and see him. So
cool. So jumping back to the Mets.
Yeah.
What's your predictions for these next games leading up to the All-Star break? How you think we're gonna fare out? Because I think we got like 22 to 24 games left in that 33 game stretch in the 31 nights. How you?
It's the bottom line is, unfortunately, we kind of got hosed this year by the league. Okay, with the COVID issue.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year with the Nationals, all the rainouts and what have you that we've had. Now we got to make it up. We got to do these 7 innings doubleheaders, which is tough to win doubleheaders. Okay?
Yeah.
The bottom line is, my prediction is that I think the Mets obviously are going to lead the pack at the halfway point, and I also think they're going to win this division. That being said, though, before the deadline passes, we definitely need to get some insurance, all right, on the pitching side, whether it's pick up a reliever or two, and we definitely need a starter or two.
Yes.
Granted, my bottom line is, I have a message for all the fans out there. Okay?
Please.
And that message is this, that baseball is hard. Baseball is a hard game, okay? And baseball is a game of repetition. It's very challenging physically and mentally, okay? These players are all creatures of habit, okay? And, me being as close as I was, I've been able to get so close here in Tampa, you would never appreciate what these people go through. I mean, they're in the park usually at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I think the latest they could get in is 3 o'clock, let's say, for a 7 o'clock game. So they're in at least 4 hours, if not 7 hours before the game. Then they're playing a 4-hour game. Then they got to go home, or then they got to get on a bus to go get on a plane.
If it's a travel day.
It's a hell of a grind, okay? And, the reality is that new players, let's say Francisco Lindor, listen, everybody pays their money. They can do what they want. I pay big money when I was a season ticket holder. My seats were $14,000 for my 2 seats for the year.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I used to sell a lot of tickets and get a lot of my money back.
That doesn't matter though. That's neither here nor
I
there.
never really booed anybody, okay, because I don't feel it's my place.
Right.
All right, because I have a little respect, there's people, they pay their money, they want to boo, go ahead and boo.
Right.
Okay? But
Be
the
sour.
reality of the matter is that we have probably the best shortstop in the game. All right. The man has an infectious personality. The man loves to play the game. Do you think the man wants to fail?
No.
Do you think he likes hearing boos?
No.
But you have
people.
to understand that, he played in Cleveland for a bunch of years. Now he's coming to New York City.
Right. It's a different atmosphere altogether. The energy's crazy. The fans expect more. And to jump really quick into what you were saying, it's tough. You said earlier in the show, you said, you know how hard it is to go to 81 games? Can you imagine playing 162 and maintaining that travel schedule and everything you mentioned in between?
Yeah.
People don't have any consideration for that.
And guess what? I've seen firsthand, because I've gone on road trips to see the Mets. One year, like I said, in 06, I think it was, me and my son went to Philadelphia to go see them. Guess what? They didn't get in till like 3 or 4 in the morning to the hotel because they had a Sunday night game. The day before, which is the worst. Yeah. All right? When you have to play that Sunday night game and then get on a plane and go travel, you ain't getting into your hotel till 3 or 4 in the morning. So what are you doing? So you have a 7 o'clock game, the next game. You get in at 4 in the morning, you're going right to bed. Okay? It's true. And you waking up at whatever. Yeah, it's true. You're looking to get a couple of hours sleep and then back. I'm telling you,
like what they go through, it's very underappreciated, and people it's not underappreciated. They just don't understand what it entails to be a professional athlete.
Lindor's gonna be fine. Once he gets settled in. The other thing people have to understand is this, okay? Baseball is a game of failure. All right? Period.
You fail 7 out of 10 times, you consider it a success.
You fail 7 out of 10 times, you might be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. If you play 10, 15 years.
You're a great player. You're a great player.
In the Hall of Fame, failing 7 out of 10 times.
You're a great player.
You're a 300 hitter lifetime, and that means out of every 10 plate appearances, you made 7 outs, but you're in the Hall of Fame if you put up good numbers behind that, okay? Home runs, RBIs, what have you, okay? So yeah, baseball is a game of failure. The bottom line is the guy's got to transition. So he's going to New York. Where am I going to live? How am I going to commute? New York's crazy.
Crazy.
Traffic and all that
And from what I understand, his fiance or his wife, she was kind of hesitant to come to the city. She's like, she's not really like big on the city. She doesn't like that big whole being around a lot of people vibe.
Put it this way: he was born in Puerto Rico, and his family migrated here to Orlando. He's from Orlando here, okay. I got to talk to him when he was visiting with
Cleveland.
With the Cleveland Indians. Nice guy, signed a bunch of autographs. Not like some of these guys that they get a little fame and fortune and they don't want to know nothing.
Right.
Always fan friendly. Not everybody's like that. It's a transition period. He's got to get adjusted to New York and the grind over there. So that's the message that I have for them. I think we're gonna win that division. Listen. Bottom line is, since I've been a fan from day one, okay, guess what? Out of 59 seasons, I have endured 34 losing seasons. So nobody can tell me about losing, okay? 5 times we've lost over 100 games. We still hold a modern day record. There was a team before in the 1800s, 1890s, that lost more games than us. But from the 1900s, modern day. We hold the record for futility. 120 losses that year. Okay, so the bottom line is I don't want to know about losing. I've endured losing, and you know what? Yeah, I get on their cases sometimes. But I do it in the confounds of my house. I'll curse them out for swinging that stupid pitch.
Right. I'm not gonna go on Twitter and blast people and
I'm not going on
attacking
Twitter.
people.
I'm not gonna insult their families either.
Yeah, that's whack. That's whack.
But the bottom line is, too many people get too emotionally invested on every single pitch. Yeah, I've been critical of Luis Rojas. I'm not a fan of Luis Rojas. I'll go ahead and say it. Okay. The bottom line is, yeah, he has on-the-job training. Yeah. These day and age, now these managers are just puppets, and they just have
pretty
to
much
be able to communicate.
And some in-game stuff stuff.
But that's really important, the in-game stuff.
It is.
The reality of the matter, we're up 4 games, right? 4 games, 4.5 games, whatever it is. For those
with an injury-depleted team.
Exactly. We should be doing cartwheels for what this team has accomplished.
Exactly.
With what we've accomplished with. Now,
yeah.
The other thing is this, that we who've played the game and know the game, and when I look at a standing, they are, I believe now it's only 6 games. It was bigger, but now it's only like 6 games on the loss column.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I look at. I look at the loss column. So in theory, we're really up 6 games, and what that means is that we've played less games because of the COVID cancellations. And
that's why this week right here is super important.
Now,
this week is important.
If we pick up those games and win them, yeah, we have a 6-game lead. Okay, so that's what I always look at, is the loss column. That's going to tell you where you're at. Okay, the bottom line is, the sad reality is that we've gifted probably 8 games this year. And you add those 8 games to the standings,
right?
What are you looking at? We'll be up 12 games.
Right.
All right.
I can't do that, but you're absolutely right.
But being as close to the game as I've been throughout these years, especially here, the mentality of some of these organizations is they're content with playing 500 ball up until September. And then they figure they want to have a monster month and win 25 out of 30, let's say, or go 20 and 10.
Right.
And think they're going to get into the postseason. That's the mentality of some of these organizations, believe it or not.
That's
all right.
That's wild.
I'm of the opposite philosophy.
Yeah, that's wild.
I want to bank as many games as possible.
I'm trying to run the table. I'm trying to crush everybody along the way.
Because you're going to run into... It's a long season, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna run.
I'm trying to crush it. I'm trying to have the best team on the field at all times.
You're gonna run into losing streaks.
It happens.
Listen, the Tampa Bay Rays have been unbelievable what they've accomplished.
Right.
With no money. They've got a 5-game losing streak. But guess what? They're kind of tied now for the lead, but they have the best record in baseball.
They've been hit by the injury bug too. they've done well. They've done well. They've had their nice run this season, and they've let teams know that they're for real, that they're a serious team when all together.
Do that well, you know. I didn't think they were going to do that well because you know what, getting to the World Series is not easy.
Right.
You know, for these baseball players, just so the fans know, getting to the big leagues is not easy.
No, there's only 700 plus Major League Baseball players.
The worst guy on the bench was a superstar wherever he came from.
But Willie, and that's exactly what I'm leading to. What you just said. No player in the major leagues was drafted to be a bench player. They were all drafted with the intention that they were the next superstar. It's not like I go to your college game or high school game, Willie, and I'm like, oh, you see that third baseman right there, Willie López? I think he's gonna be our fourth infielder. Never drafted like that. Nobody's ever scouted that way.
Yeah, and it's not easy, bro. It's not easy to perform when you're only getting limited playing time.
Exactly.
And granted, the bench mob, our so-called bench mob, has gotten tremendous experience right now.
And it's grown. The bench mob is like, it was 4 people, now it's like 10, 12 people.
Yeah, now, I mean, when these other guys come back, and, you know, I mean, I read the other day, like, I have to laugh at some of these people, you know, like somebody, it was about Brandon Nimmo. You know, do you want him back? And people saying no,
yeah,
we don't want him back.
It doesn't make sense.
Nimmo, best player this year.
I can't agree with that, and I don't give it any energy. I don't give it any energy whatsoever.
You don't know baseball if you don't want Brandon Nimmo. That guy,
you bugging.
He was the only guy that was
getting on base.
Consideration.
Yeah, he was getting on base. He was hitting the ball. He was the only position player that you could have considered right now to be an all-star, because only all-stars the Mets have are pitchers.
And I tweeted that because I was like, you people don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, not at all.
And not because I like him and because he's a good kid. The kid hustles.
Yeah, he's a good ball player.
The kid was hitting. The kid walks. I mean, you see him. He gets a walk and he's running.
He's running to first base. Yeah, I like it.
Who's the original Mr. Smile?
Yeah, I like it. So you got
relax and chill out.
Yeah, before we part, any last words for Mets fans? Right here.
Enjoy the ride, brother. Enjoy the ride. I mean, you know, I had a little thing that I wrote for like a closing farewell, and like, you know, I'm an emotional type of guy, and you know, I'm hoping to get through it without getting emotional. But the bottom line is, in this crazy world that we live in, we need to stop the hate. We need to live our life to the fullest because tomorrow's not guaranteed. You need to tell your family that you love and appreciate them. You know, I mean, you know, I have an expression that I tell my wife: don't sweat the petty things, pet the sweaty things. Call your mom, call your dad. Family first and always. God bless you all and keep you safe. And you know what? In my old age, because I had a heart attack, and I want to thank everybody for their well wishes.
Love you, Willie. Take it easy, Papa.
Be a dog and donut.
Yeah.
But this is what I say. Let's go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets. Yo, that's heartfelt. Thank you, Willie.
Thanks.
Yo, on that note, yo, Mets fans, this is Chente Camacho, your boy and your host, signing off. Thank you so much to Willie López. Yo, I appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing with us, bro. And
we'll do this again.
Definitely.
We'll
I'm gonna get you on Zoom. I gotta get you on Zoom because I want to put multiple guys on at once.
Yeah.
So we can have like a nice chat between like 4 or 5 of us.
Yeah, that'll work.
And I want you there.
This is a Mets Willets Point bound 7 local train. The next and last stop is Mets Willets Point.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.